So little birdie told me you wanted to learn how to be cool. Well, I guess it's a good thing you're here. Okay guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're gonna get into how to make you a cool person. I'm not gonna bullshit you, let's get straight into it. First things first, what you wanna do is recognize that you're a human being. I know, sounds crazy, right? No, hear me out. Hear me out. What is it about human beings that makes them so damn special? What is it about us that makes us ridiculously cool? It's the fact that we have the ability to think for ourselves and make decisions. Now sometimes, what happens when we make those decisions? Oh yeah, things go wrong. We make mistakes. Growing up, I used to be so ashamed of any mistake I made, especially given that I used to take it upon myself to be the biggest Hermione Granger in class. I had to know everything, and if I didn't, on the one instance, shame central. Everybody would know that I'm a fraud, that I'm not as smart as I make myself out to be, that I can't possibly be successful. But no. This is where I went wrong. You see, the beautiful thing about being human is that yes, you are guaranteed to make mistakes, but you have the power within you to pick yourself back up. And you see, the whole picking yourself back up thing, it doesn't have to be as dramatic as it sounds. It doesn't have to be this big, crazy, scary thing that everybody makes it out to be, that everybody's watching you whilst doing so. And you know what? Even if they are, just put on a good show and have a laugh. Have a laugh. Did you ever think about that? You're allowed to have a laugh. You're allowed to laugh at yourself. Do you want to know how many times I failed in my life? Boy, I cannot even begin to tell you. Shall we say sunglasses on our head? How's that? A little vibe for a minute. Yeah, why not? I am my own biggest source of entertainment, darling. And that's the secret to a long life. Admit to your mistakes, learn from them, and move on. Have a laugh. Apologize if you need to. It's okay. Your ego, sweetheart, is not that important in the long run. I can promise you. Your ego will not be your best friend in this lifetime. Your ego is not going to be rooting for you as your biggest cheerleader. No. Your ego is that little bitch that wants to see you drown. Okay? Now we can recognize it. We can recognize it and be like, oh, hey. Okay? But we don't need to keep them close. They can stay at the acquaintance level. Alright? We know about them. We know of them. We know of each other. But we don't need to be besties. You feel me? Let go of your ego. Zoom out. What do you want in the long term? What do you want in this relationship? What do you want to be? Who are you working towards becoming? Because I can promise you, your ego, if you hold on to that thing, it's only going to slow you down. Either way, it's going to hurt. Pick your poison. Oh, gosh, no, not in that outfit. What a judgy bitch. Am I right? Now listen. We are all guilty of making judgments. You know what? That's another beautiful thing about being human. We will judge. It's in our nature. And you know what? Judging is a good thing. It is absolutely a good thing. Why? It keeps us safe. Yeah? But you know when judging isn't always a good thing? Let me tell you. It's when we let it block us from our blessings. We can't help but make initial judgments. That is a human thing. It is as normal as eating, breathing, sleeping, anything else. Okay? But what we can do is refrain from making our judgments a criticism on a character that we do not even know. You see, your judgments, although they may seem accurate to you, you must understand that that judgment, that even your assessment of your judgment is biased. Where does your judgment come from? Life experience. But your life experience is biased. This is influenced by how you grew up, the people that you interacted with, what you viewed as normal, your parents, your guardians, your local community. Somebody could look at me. I'm brown, in case you couldn't tell. And they can make judgments based off of that. Is that fair to me? I don't think so. Similarly, I could look at somebody else and judge them based off of their outfit, but that does not necessarily have anything to do with their true character. Allow your judgment to exist, but refrain from letting that assume everything about one's character. And assumptions will come and bite you in the bum when you least expect it. When you stay in this place of acknowledging that maybe you don't know everything about everybody, that you can learn from people, you end up leading with curiosity, making you naturally a more likable person, a person that people want to be around. When I meet people, I know that I have my judgment of what they might be like. Why? To keep me safe. But I want, this is the caveat, I want to be proven wrong. Does it mean I'm going to keep myself in unsafe positions? Absolutely not. No, I do not want to threaten or endanger myself like that. But what I will do is dare to test what I believe to be true. Because there's got to be good out there. There's got to be more out there. There's got to be more people out there that can teach me something new. In case this isn't obvious enough, if someone falls over in front of you, go and help them. Go and help them. Your initial reaction might be to laugh, be confused, freeze. I get it. We're all human. The way that we naturally react in scenarios has a lot to do with what we have gone through in our past, what we believe to be right, and just our natural personality traits. But I know that if you were in their shoes and you had fallen over, that it wouldn't hurt to have somebody come over and help you up, or at least try. Do not lose your humanity because you think people will be looking at you. So what if they're looking at you? You need to do what is right. There comes a time where your parents won't be raising you anymore, where your guardians won't be raising you anymore, and you need to decide the type of person you want to be. You need to decide your character. So what's it going to be? This next one kind of ties into my last one. If somebody is struggling and you can be of use to them, go and be of use to them. Don't stay stuck. Oh, well, maybe somebody else will come and do it. Oh, well, they don't really need it. No, they need it. That's why you had that thought. I cannot tell you the amounts of times that I have been at a train station and I've seen a woman, a mother, with her stroller and perhaps another child and multiple bags, and she is struggling to get onto the train. How many men step forward? How many people step forward to help her? Out of all these times that I have witnessed this occur, only once have I seen anybody help the woman. The rest of the times it was me. I'm going to get into this again at the end, but I want to clarify, I'm no saint. I'm not perfect. The reason I've written these things down is because I know what it feels like to be on the emotional receiving end of these things, but also because I have made some of these mistakes in the past. I hold myself accountable just as much as I wish to hold you accountable. We are all striving to be better people. The biggest thing here is empathy. You feel that question come up, should I help them? Should I do the neighborly thing? Should I do the friendly thing? Should I do the warm thing? Should I do the kind thing? Why do we stop? Fear? Fear of being judged? What, judged by people that wouldn't dare to be kind? So what, you have a heart? Inspire them. You see, everybody has good in them. That's why the thought crosses many people's minds. But not everybody has the courage to take the action. And sometimes all it takes is a ripple effect. Sometimes all it takes is seeing somebody else do the right thing. If we go with that example, actually let's go with the example of this. Say you see an elderly person and they're struggling to perhaps carry their groceries across the road or get something from a shelf in a store, right? You offer to help them or hold the door for them, right? And you're afraid to. There's a crowd. Many other people could. You go and stand up and you do the right thing. And these people see you. These people see you. And you're scared, and maybe they even reject your help, and you walk away. But maybe there was somebody in that crowd that saw what you did. And the next day, you're out. Or maybe not. Maybe you're not out. Maybe your grandparent is out. And that person that saw you in the crowd, they don't know you, nothing like that. And they see your grandparent struggling with something. And they go and help your grandparent. Never underestimate the power that you have to do good. Lordy Lord. Learn to be comfortable with speaking with a variety of people. People of all ages and backgrounds. And do not look down on them because they are different to you. You know, let me explain something here. Why do we look down on people? Because we're afraid of facing our own insecurity. You see, the mean thing is always easier. It's always easier because it keeps us in a position of comfort and control. It doesn't actually make us more humane, though. It is harder to do the thing that is scary. It is harder to do the thing which makes you question perhaps everything you know about the world, about yourself, about what you believe to be true. But I dare you. I dare you to face that fear. So what they're different? So what it's different? Difference is an opportunity to learn. Difference is an opportunity to grow, to do better, to think bigger, to think new, to humble yourself. I don't mean look down upon yourself. To humble yourself is not to look down upon yourself and minimize yourself, but it's to realize your own humanity. I understand. You know, there are people that grow up in bubbles of norm, right? We all do to some extent. People that perhaps they don't step out of their village, ever. They don't read, they don't expose themselves to a variety of information from a variety of sources. And so they believe truth to be one way. But see, you are limiting your own potential. You are limiting your own growth. And I don't say this solely for you, but I say this in a way to sell it to you. Because not everybody is motivated by being kind. You don't need to look down upon people to be cool. If you find yourself inclined to want to do that, to want to squash other people because it's easier, what that means, do you want to know what that means? It means you have potential. Potential that you are shying away from. Every time you choose to do the easy thing, every time you choose to judge them instead of speak with them. Not at them, not to them, with them. You choose the easy route. You choose the version of you that doesn't flourish, that doesn't thrive, because you aren't open. You aren't open to what's different. It doesn't mean that you need to make it your own. It doesn't mean that you need to adopt certain ways of being that aren't authentic to you. But to be open, to learn, to listen, to ask questions, to explore. That is the very essence of growth. I ask you to lean into that. The more you lean into the world and its people, the more you lean into the richness and wealth that is yourself. Oh, I can't do it. It's too hard. Life is just so hard and no one understands me. Does that sound familiar? Yeah. Now, you might have other iterations of this. Okay, I'm not saying all of my crying sessions go quite like that, but maybe somewhat. It depends on the day. Anyway, you know what we're not around here? If you made it this far into the video, yes, you, is we're not giver-uppers. Understand? We don't give up. Alright, we might get tired. We might take a little break every now and then. We might take a weekend off. Heck, we might even take a week holiday. A siesta. Whatever. You name it. Okay? But what we won't do is give up. What we won't do is throw ourselves a pity party. Listen, you're having a party? You let me know. I'll be there. A pity one? You will never see me. Never. I don't care. I don't want to know. You want to know why? Because I'm too busy dreaming about my future and making it happen. You have enough to work with. And when you're sad, when you're down, it feels like the whole world is against you. Like you don't have enough. Like there is nothing that you can do to pull yourself out of this. That nobody understands. That you're alone. Fine. Fine. Even if that's the case, I dare you to carry on. I dare you to carry on. Don't quit on yourself. You want to quit on yourself? Feel free to unsubscribe and go and sit at somebody else's channel. Don't stay at this side of the internet. I don't want you here. The people that are here, oh, we're bold. We're about taking up space. We're about doing the thing that is hard. We're about growth. We're about maximizing on our potential. We're about asking questions. We're about innovation. We're about grit. We're about purpose. We're about passion. If you can't be about that, you either level up or you leave. It's that simple. Resilience is respect-worthy and cool. You know what a pity party is? It's sitting there, slouching, inaction, and a whole lot of words. A whole lot of tears shed over tubs of ice cream. I'm not saying you can't have those moments. But those moments can't turn into parties. Hell no. You gotta give yourself better than that. You gotta do better than that. You gotta be about more. Are you just your failures? Is that it? Is that all you want to be? If that's all you want to be, again, this is not the place for you. Oh, you wouldn't believe the situation I was in. I walked all the way there and then, oh, hi. I'm just explaining to everybody the situation of when I went to the doctors and everything. Charlie, this is Sarah, by the way. We know each other from school. Yeah, Charlie, Sarah. Yeah. No, exactly. I was saying about how I walked all this way. You get what I'm saying. Do you get what I'm saying? It's not the story that's important. It's the inclusion. Maybe that was a silly example. Fair enough. It's been a while since I've had to imagine people. Anyway, I want you to think about a time where you weren't included. You see, what I tried to reenact, not that I did it well, is me at, say, a cocktail party, right? Not saying I had the best convo. I'm genuinely just talking about a situation that I had this morning, which we don't need to finish the story because it's stupid. I'm sharing the story with Charlie. Don't ask me who Charlie is. Irrelevant. Perhaps there are a few other people, but let's just say I'm talking just with Charlie for now. Sarah comes along. Big group of people. People everywhere. People look at you, staring at you. Sarah comes along. She stands here next to me. What do? Do I carry on my conversation with Charlie? Or do I acknowledge Sarah and bring her into the conversation? Now, in reality, would I carry on with my story in that situation? Without Sarah's cue of approval, probably not. Without Charlie's cue of approval, probably not. Why? Because I want to accommodate them. I am the facilitator within this conversation. I will accommodate them and where they wish to lead the conversation. We could make another video about this. Anyway, let's just go with this. In this scenario, what did I do right? I acknowledged Sarah. I made eye contact with her, though you couldn't see that because she's invisible. I then introduced Sarah to Charlie and Charlie to Sarah. Yes, it was a little messy. Yes, it was a little chaotic because I was coming up with my story on the spot. If this was a real situation, things would be a lot more flowy, right? Because the story's real and the people are real too. Imagine you were Sarah. No way. Oh my gosh, that actually... What did they say? Yeah. Are you serious? Hi. Oh my... Stop, you're kidding. How'd you feel? Maybe a little triggered. Maybe like you were on the outside. Yeah. How about this? Oh my god. That actually happened? Stop. Oh, hi, Sarah. Sorry, Charlie, this is Sarah. Charlie. Sarah and I know each other from school. And then the conversation would continue. Okay, now I wouldn't necessarily mention Charlie's crazy situation because that's his information that he's sharing with me. Whether or not he want to share it with Sarah, a new person that he also doesn't know, is entirely up to him. And I'm not going to put him in an awkward situation where I share his information, right? But what you can see is that there is an acknowledgement of the new individual, right? Sorry, I just knocked you guys. If someone joins the party, open up your body language and find a way to incorporate them into the conversation. If you know that they're not a big talker and they don't want to be put on the spot, right? Then maybe don't do anything that's really going to put a lot of attention on them, but do enough to make them feel seen and like they are part of the conversation. You see, this really isn't anything special, and none of the things on this list are. Do you know what they are? Respectful of the human being. And the thing is, it sounds so simple and it sounds so mundane, but again, like most things in life, it is simple but hard. Hard, why? Because it challenges you. It makes you break out of what you should do, supposedly. What you think is conventional and right. But it costs nothing to make eye contact with the new person that is involved in this conversation and to make them feel included. You don't know what that person is feeling on the inside. They could be the most confident person, but they could also be the most anxious and shy. I think all of us have experienced this at some point in our lives, where we feel left out, not included, not seen. We feel like people don't value our contribution and our existence as much as others in the room. But that's not true, is it? You know that. I know that. So let's be about it. Now this might sound a little silly, and we're definitely shifting gear here, but when you buy a present for someone, a birthday present, any present, don't think about what you would want. Again, it's not about appeasing your ego. Think about what they would want. I know it sounds silly, but this was something that I used to struggle with when I was younger. I would get money and I would think, I want to do something for this person, and yes, the intentions were there, pat on the back, darling, we did all right there. But what was the end goal? You see, if your end goal is for that recipient to experience the most happiness, joy, satisfaction, then you will think for them. Will you necessarily get it right? Maybe not. But you can try. But you can try. Am I right or am I right? Think about a time where you received a rubbish gift. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. How'd it make you feel? Heck, do you even remember anything that perhaps didn't last for less than a week? Or didn't end up in the trash or in recycling or with the charity shop? Now there are some gifts that are given with the purest of intentions, right? And they still get it wrong. That's different. I'm talking about the situations where people have given you something with no thought of you as an individual, about what makes you happy, about what makes you, you. Have they really been listening? Or have they just been hearing what they want to hear? Have they given you a gift as a tick in the box action? Again, to appease their own ego? Or have they done it from the sincerity of their heart. Now this might be cheesy, this might be lame, but this is definitely one way to stick in somebody's mind. How many of us want to be seen and loved for who we are? Especially now, given this, if one of your love languages is receiving gifts, think about how it feels when somebody sees you and they're listening and they try, and they might not get it right, at least not on the first attempt, but they're trying. You and I both know how much of a difference that makes. When you buy a present for someone, don't think about what appeals to me, but rather what appeals to them. What suits their tastes? What will they like? Remember, it's not about appeasing your ego. It's about making them happy. The next one. Curiosity. A willingness to learn about the world and having an open mind. We already touched on this previously, but it really is a way of being. It's about acknowledging the fact that maybe you don't know everything, and maybe that's okay. Maybe that's a good thing. You see, real wisdom is knowing that as you know more, you realize how little you truly know. Surrender to what the world has to teach you in all its forms. You see, when you try to grip, when you try to control, when you try to make things your way and only your way, you cannot flow with life. You cannot make it your friend. You will find immense difficulty, struggle, strife. Everything will feel like an uphill battle. You want to feel light. You want to feel freer. You want things to sort of make more sense, and you want to feel things without everything feeling so rough and raw and gritty and difficult. Open yourself. Let things come to you. Let it not make sense. Let yourself be confused. Let all those questions come up and let them pour out of you. Let yourself be curious. Let yourself learn. Oh, I'm okay, thanks. I'm not drinking. You're not drinking? Girl, please. Yeah, I'll take a water. I'm okay. Just one. Just have one. Come on, we're all out here together. Don't be a party pooper. Don't be a spoil sport. No, I swear. Look, it's just a drink. It's a tiny... You don't even have to have a lot. Just a little. Just one. What's the problem? No, it's not... What, are you sober now? Come on. What's the big deal? I do drink sometimes, but it's just... Right now I'm trying to do a detox. Really? Come on, like that's gonna last. Okay, great. Fine. Sure. Be sober, but from tomorrow. Tonight, you're drinking. You're with us. You said you wanted to have a good time. No, I'm actually okay. I really would rather not. Honestly, why do we even bother inviting you out if you don't even actually want to have fun? It's like putting a dampener on the whole thing. Like, we're all here to have a good time, and you're just like, okay, if you want to be like that. If you're out at a social event and somebody doesn't want to drink or smoke or etc, 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 any iteration of whatever you think is cool and what they should be doing, you respect that. Regardless of the situation, their reasoning, their whys, their what ifs, their anything, your justification, anything, you do not force them to be included in what you think they should be doing. You do not. This sounds blatantly obvious, but you would be surprised how many people do not know what no means. It's funny, I actually had this conversation with somebody recently where somebody was trying to get me to drink something, right? And I said to them, there is absolutely no benefit in this. They weren't pleased with that. They said, I'm just trying to treat you here, like this is, and I said, I completely get that and I am grateful for it, I respect it. But why? Why are you so insistent on me joining you for this drink? And they said, well, I'm just trying to do something. Why are you being difficult? No, I'm not being difficult. I'm being honest, and I'm asking you an honest question. See, you're not trying to get me to have a drink with you because you actually want what's best for me. You're getting me to have a drink with you because you think that makes you a good friend, person, etc., etc., whatever the title is. Because you're including me in your idea of fun. Now, I respect that. I get it. I see your perspective. I am honored to be chosen and included by you. But what you're not taking into account is that I'm not actually happy participating in said act. I'm miserable the whole time. I'm not actually getting any enjoyment out of it. And if you actually care about me and you want what's best for me, then you will see that and you will respect it. You see, their rejection of your idea of fun is not meant as an insult to you. It is not meant as a way of putting you down. Not at all. It's just a choice. You see, the way you'd be having more fun with a drink, they'd be having more fun without one. That's it. That's all it is. Mutual respect can exist in that situation. So allow it to. Similarly, if someone messes up, right? So we're talking boundaries, and that's why I say similarly. If someone messes up, and not in a way that is absolutely outrageous. I mean, like sleeping with your boyfriend, maybe. Not in a way that is entirely disrespectful and crosses all of your boundaries, no. But I mean they mess up. They hurt your feelings in some shape or form. Don't cut them off. Don't cut them off. There is such a toxic trend going on right now of cut them off, cut a bitch, cut the... You are going to end up friendless. You are going to end up an island, miserable, wondering why you don't have any friendships that last beyond a year. You see, in friendship, in humanity, in togetherness, there will naturally be slip-ups. We are imperfect beings. Are you telling me the sun shines out of your... I don't think so. You know what? If it does, pay the UK a visit. We could do with the sunshine. There is so much eye for an eye action, and you hear a lot of it in rap. And I get, in art, it's a little different. Art is more extreme. Art is expression. But to bring that level of art and frustration and drama into your IRL, you will never be at peace. You will never be at peace. You will be a constant source of drama. And drama is not cool when it's off the stage. You understand? You're giving toxic, troubled teenager. No. No. Where is your humility and your humanity? Like I said, we're all capable of making mistakes. So the next time you make a mistake, you expect that somebody's just gonna cut you off like that? Do you really have no room for forgiveness? The people I love the most, the people that are closest to me, I cannot even tell you how many times they've hurt me and how many times I have hurt them. It's not about disrespecting each other. It's not about being abusive towards one another and accepting that. Not at all. I will never promote that. But it's about understanding that it takes time to get to know a person. Their needs, their wants, what makes them feel safe, what doesn't, what makes them feel heard, what doesn't, what makes them feel respected, what doesn't. What you need in a relationship could be very different to what your friend needs, friend A, let alone what friend B needs. So just as you struggle to wrap your head around everybody else's needs, other people might struggle to do the same for you. It doesn't mean you're difficult, it doesn't mean you're unlovable. It just means you're human. Ruptures happen in relationships. It's normal. The important thing is that you learn how to come together and grow together in unison. That is how you create deeper connections. Let the rupture happen. Let the disagreement happen. I'm not saying that's what we need to go for, but it's a part of authenticity. Things aren't going to be perfect all the time and pretty, but they also don't need to be extremely toxic. A healthy relationship is where both people can exist as their fullest selves, whilst being respectful towards each other. Let people learn and grow. Give them grace to learn and grow. You do not know what you do not know. Understand? Think of every mistake you made. Think about the first time you made that mistake. Now imagine if no one gave you a second chance. If nobody said, you know what, I understand where you came from, it's okay, just don't do it again. And that relationship that meant so much to you, and that environment that meant so much to you, whether it be a workplace or a after school group activity or whatever. Think about that time that you were grateful for a second chance. Being soft, being human, does not mean that you are laying down on the floor for that person to walk all over you, not at all. It means that you have strength enough to see the good in them, to know that they can do better. And sometimes maybe you can see that before they can. Oh my god, no, I love your outfit. Absolutely, yeah. No, it's great. What was she thinking wearing that? She looks... That is so bad. Like, that... No, I was just saying how your outfit is, like, really nice. That was painful for me. That was actually painful for me. I tried my best with my acting, guys. That actually brings tears to my eyes, though, for real, because this should be obvious. Not being a two-faced backstabbing bitch. That was hard because I have seen so much of that, and people like I said, many of these things are easy, right? Why do people two-faced? To show off their power, to claim power, right? So say I'm this chick, whoever said this, right? What do I do when I do this? I get person A to like me, feel like I'm safe. I get person B to like me, but to also see me as dangerous. It allows for control. It allows people to see me how I want them to see me. It allows for manipulation. It allows for fear. Person B knows to also be afraid of me because I could go and say something to person C. It's cruel. It's cold. It's just shitty character through and through. And if what you need to feel good about yourself as a person is to put another human being down like that, without even doing it to their face, my God. It's really poor reflection on your character. Really, really poor reflection on your character. It's pathetic is what it is. It is beyond pathetic. It is disgusting, dirty behavior. It is bottom of the barrel behavior. You want to be cool? Start by keeping your mouth shut. Ever heard that quote, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all? I know we all muck up every now and then, but come on. Really, at least have a modicum of decency. How much do you have to be hurting on the inside to tear down another individual like that? Especially someone who did nothing to you. If this shit feels personal, it's because it is, man. It's personal. I've been on the receiving end of it. I've seen other people be on the receiving end of this. You're pathetic. You think that the only way for you to feel good about yourself is by making somebody else feel shit about themselves. You're appalling. You should be embarrassed with yourself. I've said this in another video about 16 things that I wish I knew at the age of 16. I was never bitching to that extent, but I did become slightly two-faced at one point. In order to fit in. Fit in? Fit in with who? With the idiots around you? Really? I'm sorry, if you look, the majority of people, aka the people that you were trying to fit in with, they're not cool. They're not. They're actually not. The game that you might be playing in secondary school is not the game that's going to get you to last out there in the real world. I'm telling you now. It might work in your little clique. It might work in your little clique in your village, your hometown. You move out of that, you got no game. You got no chance like that. Not with that attitude. Good luck making friends like that. It's gonna come bite you in the bum. That's the thing. People don't even realize. You want to look at your gain. Okay, fine. Let me tell you about your gain. Let me tell you. You attract what you are. You want to be a two-faced backstabbing bitch? All right. Fine then. Carry on. But don't be surprised if you meet your mirror image. If you wouldn't want to be screwed over by somebody just like you, then maybe it's time to check yourself. You see, there have been many opportunities for me to bitch throughout life. After even I changed my ways and decided, no, there's no need to be this way. There's no need to speak ill of others. There's no need to try and fit in here and fit in there. You don't need to do that. You can create your own table where you make the rules and decide what is and what is not acceptable. Just because everybody else is doing it doesn't mean you have to. I've had many opportunities. I've had friendship fallouts, breakups. You think in those opportunities I couldn't have come online and said a bunch of stuff? That I couldn't have gone to my mutual friends with this person and shitted on them? Of course I could. Of course I could. You know what? Maybe it would even feel good. But I don't. Because that's not who I am. Because that is not my character. I don't care what went down between us. If I need to talk to people, I'll talk to my main people. They're my safe space. But I don't need to go out chatting shit about people. Because what does that say about me? What does that say about me? What value, what character do I have if that is the way I behave? It doesn't matter what went down. You have your thoughts, you keep them to yourself. You want to vent, cry, etc. Get it out through your art. Get it out through your expression. Get it out when you're talking to your safe space people. You don't need to go and tell everybody about your business like that. You do not, for the love of God, have to be crapping on people. Let me tell you this as well. Let me tell you this. Hear me when I say this. Right? You can't outrun your character. Reputation is a reputation, all right? And you can go blah, 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 blah. Maybe go and destroy someone's reputation. Good for you. If that makes you happy, great. I don't want to know you, but as long as you're happy, right? But your character, just as that individual's character that you've been bitching about, that's going to follow you guys wherever you go. Wherever you go. If you really think they're such a horrible person, if you really think that they're so worthy of being torn down, well then don't worry, you don't need to open your mouth. Karma will take care of that for you. Didn't you hear? Karma's a bitch. What? You scared? Yeah. No. There's a sign of your insecurity speaking to you. Maybe it's time you did something about that. This is the last thing before we get into the little bonus section I have for you guys at the end. Letting people down with kindness. Now, you're going to see why the last point was actually quite relevant for this point here. But before we go into that, if a guy approaches you and asks you out, and you're not interested, he is the last person you would ever date, right? You can still turn him down politely. You can still say, thank you, but I'm not interested. As long as he's not harassing you. That's a whole other ballgame. If it's not a case of harassment, be polite. Be polite. Be kind. For many men, It is actually very challenging and scary for them to approach a woman, especially now in the 21st century. If he is coming over, he's not touching you, he's not saying anything crass or crude, he's not doing anything to harass your boundaries, he's just simply trying to strike up a conversation and get to know you and ask you out perhaps. You do not have to entertain it, you can politely say, no thank you. You are entitled to that. But you do not have to do it diminishing somebody else's character and completely putting them down. You can let people down with kindness. They don't need a grand explanation, not at all. You can simply say, no, thank you, I am not interested. I am flattered, but no, thank you. There is a way of being. You do not need to start throwing insults. You do not need to give judgmental, cruel looks. This is still a human being standing in front of you. Again, if there are any men watching, I am not excusing disgusting behavior. I will never, ever in my life agree with harassment and cross, crude, disgusting behavior from men. Never. But there are a lot of men out there that are well-behaved, kind, good-hearted individuals. And maybe they don't even come in the prettiest packaging, at least in your eyes. Does that mean they should be treated with less respect? Is that how your mother raised you? Is that how your father raised you? Do you have a brother by any chance? How would you feel if your brother was being rejected the way that you are rejecting this man right now? Yeah, exactly. How would you feel if your future son was treated the way that you are treating this man right now? Yeah, exactly. I don't care what your wounds are. You might have more boundaries, you might have more barriers. I respect that, I understand that. But there is no need to be nasty. There is no need to be nasty. And if that doesn't kick you up the butt enough, let me tell you this. Imagine you're in a bar, right? Going for a drink. Maybe you're with your girlfriends. Guy comes over. He's interested. You realize, not your type, not interested in what he's saying. You want to politely let him down. Or actually, not even politely. You want to let him down. Okay, valid, fine. You go and do something disgusting. You insult him. You put him down. You laugh at him. You let him buy you a ton of drinks only to then insult him and throw it in his face. I'm not talking he buys you a drink and then you then realize that you're not interested. But after a drink, you should have enough of an idea. Let's be real. Okay? Plus, you should not be drinking that much anyway when you've just met a man. Now imagine you've done all of this. You've exhibited ugly behavior. But you're still looking for a man. Your dream man was watching that entire interaction. You know what? He got the ick. He doesn't want to come over. Well done. You think he's gonna want to approach you after witnessing that attitude? Hell no. Hell no. I think now with the internet, there is so much like capturing things, tweeting things, posting things, this dude that, this girl that. It's like we're trying to shame each other and tear each other apart. Do not lose your kindness for the sake of your own entertainment. You're better than that. You are absolutely better than that. You are capable of better than that. Again, I do not condone harassment. A no is a no. Nobody should be disrespecting you and making you feel uncomfortable. But if a person is purely, genuinely being interested, you can politely say no. There is no need to create drama. There is no need to act up. There is no need to make a thing of things. Okay? Unless you shit diamonds, that behavior is completely uncalled for. Now guys, if you're here and you made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching. We are now going to go into the bonus section of things that make you an extra cool person. I feel like we should have our sunglasses on for this, you know, it's just kind of adding for the vibes. What do you think? Should we keep them on for a little moment? I think I look pretty swaggy. Looking swaggy? What do you guys think? Rate the sunglasses. I have about 6 pairs and my sister helped me pick these ones out. What do you think? Solid, right? I think they're pretty cool. I'm pretty cool. Just like the doctor says, bow ties are cool. So are sunglasses, darling. Right. Having and showing empathy for someone who is experiencing something you personally have never experienced and holding space for them. You can't see my eyes. They look like a bug. Now, there are many things, right? We talk about empathy. Yes, beautiful. But there are many things in life where we cannot understand what somebody else has gone through. Now, I made this mistake in the past because I used to be somebody that people could talk to. What am I saying used to? I still am. But of course, in my youth, I was a young'un. I didn't have as much knowledge, right? We learn and we grow, etc. There were many areas and many facets of information that I received where I did not know what they were talking about. I hadn't been through it myself, so how could I possibly understand? And how did I treat that? I was dismissive. Oh, okay, well, I'm sure you'll fix it. I'm sure you'll figure it out. There is power in saying, I can't imagine what that must be like for you. I get it. No, you don't. Oh my god, I completely understand. I feel the same when I blah, 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 blah. No, you don't. You've never been through what they're going through. You don't get it. And you'll actually find there are more situations than you think where this is the case. Where somebody is telling you something, they're sharing their pain. And more so what they need, rather than having you say, oh yeah, no, me too. It's just for you to be like, I'm here. Make me understand. I want to understand where you're coming from. They feel that you're an emotional safe space. How can you continue to facilitate that? By letting them come to you. Okay, we're not trying to make a trauma sandwich here. Alright, with their stuff and then your stuff and then woo, yay. No. Let them be. Maybe the way in which you can understand them better is by getting them to explain to you. Let them emote what it is that they're going through. Maybe when they're explaining to you, you can think of something similar. You don't have to express that. You don't need to voice that because your pain at that point is irrelevant. It's about them. But that will help you tap into the emotion that they are feeling. Right? You don't need to go through it to be able to empathize. We are all human. We have all experienced this different variety of emotions in different contexts. That's all you need. That's all you need. That is your toolbox. Just because you haven't experienced something before doesn't mean that you cannot understand it. And instead of running away from that, avoiding it, whether it be through either being like, okay, well, great, I'm sure you'll figure it out, or saying, oh no, me too, and I felt this, and what is that? That's an avoidance. That's an avoidance of the unknown because you don't want to not know something. Because what does that make you? Ignorant? But you see, you won't stay ignorant if you lean into it with curiosity. Explain to me. I want to understand so that I can help you better. And then how do you both leave the interaction? They will leave lighter. You, well informed. It's a win-win. Saying hi to people you know and not ignoring them. I know, it sounds crazy, right? Mind blown. Am I right? Mind blown. But you will never believe, it's quite funny. You come to the UK, everyone talks about fish and chips and the weather, but you haven't heard about this one. It's the beautiful charm of walking past somebody you know and them ignoring you. Whatever is that? Guys, say hello. Maybe it's a thing in other countries too, but I've yet to encounter a country that is so keen on upholding that tradition the way that the British like to. So we're very interesting over here. We really are. Now, I won't lie, sometimes it works in your favour. Sometimes you're having a really bad day, you're having a really off day. The last thing you want to do is have a sunny conversation. You know, I mean, that would be kind of ironic given our country. So I get it. I understand. But more often than not, the reason that we shy away from saying hello is because we're afraid of being vulnerable. We're afraid of having an authentic connection. You see, we shy away from the day-to-day. Because the truth is, when that person asks us, how are you? What will we say? That we're struggling? That we're not actually having a great day? Now the thing is, you don't actually even have to get into all of that. Sometimes all you need to do is just say, hi, how are you? Good, good. That's it. But it's an acknowledgement of the other person and it puts a smile on your face. Are you doing anything nice today? Have a great one. Or you're going to the doctors, I hope you're well. You know? Whatever. Sincerity, allow it to exist. You see, we live in our heads, we stay up here, but life is not to be lived in your head. If that was the case, then you might as well be in a bloody coma. Smile. Say hello. You know, even me, sometimes I'll be so preoccupied. I'll be listening to a podcast, right? I'll be listening to an audiobook and I'm limited on my time. But just look up and smile. I see you. It adds warmth to an interaction. It adds warmth to life. It reminds you that you're part of something, that you're seen, that you're not forgotten. It doesn't have to be a big old beautiful conversation where you're like, oh yes, I'm great. Oh yes, everything's with you great. Okay, oh yeah, okay. No, not at all. Not at all. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But just smile. And sometimes, let me tell you guys, I've had this as well. This is one of those where, you know, I shared with some of the things on the list where I was just not great at them. Like I said, I've had this. There have been times where I'm so in my zone, the last thing I want to do is talk to anybody. But then I've bumped into somebody and I've ended up having a great conversation. A lot of it is just in your own mind. You know, and we lock ourselves up from the world, away from the world, because we're like, I don't want to let people in, I'm going through something right now. But sometimes even small talk can make you feel lighter and brighter and happier and more chill. Because you realize the simple joy of just talking to someone. You gain something from it. They gain something from it. People are to be enjoyed. You know, there's already enough nonsense in the world. And if I think about the times where I've walked about and I've tried to sort of shut myself off, it's usually because I have this big old grey cloud over my head and I feel like I can't handle it. And no one will really understand. But this is the beautiful thing about humanity is, like I said, we don't need to fully understand each other to empathize with one another. What I experience in my household, maybe with my culture, or what I experience as a woman, somebody of a different culture, or somebody of a different sex, a man, a male, would perhaps not understand it the same way. But it doesn't mean that they can't hold a safe space for me. You would be surprised how many people actually want to be there for you. And yes, weirdly, the way that service works is that sometimes in you giving, you get. It fulfills you. It's a selfish need to want to be there for people sometimes. But so what? So what? Like I said, it's a win-win. Let them be there for you. If someone is hurt by something that you do, you make an effort to change it, or you just do change it. All right? Now, this doesn't necessarily go for everything, anything and everything, and for every single person. There are going to be people that are always offended by you and everything that you do, especially as a woman. I mean, this has just been established by now. It's just the baseline of our being, you know, we're just naturally offensive. Oh god. Anyway. But you guys know what I mean. It's that repetitive behavior that is harmful, especially towards those you love. Take the time to change it. Why? Because they're worth it. And because your relationship with them is worth it. And because you want to be a better person. It sounds blatantly obvious, but so many of us don't do it. If there is somebody that you deeply care about that you have been hurting in the same way, I need you to reflect upon yourself right now and ask yourself why you think that's acceptable. Why should they put up with you? Why should they tolerate that behavior? What makes you think that's okay? What, because you can get away with it? Because you've gotten away with it thus far? They're not going to put up with that much longer. Or at the very least, somebody else is not going to. So you're gonna have to do something about that sooner or later. And if it's not them that complains to you, like I said, your character follows you everywhere you go. So that is going to ripple out into some other facet of your life, which is then going to come and bite you in the bum. Forewarned is forearmed. Thank me later. And the last one, if you're here, thank you so much. It is about being able to dance and have a good time without alcohol and without any sort of stimulation like that. And, of course, tied into this is being able to have a conversation, laugh and be silly and be yourself. So many people put their coolness and their confidence on something external. But you see, I'm not saying that that can't act as a facilitator, but it's all you. I want to tell you a story. Back in the day, when I first started in one of my customer service jobs, I used to be so nervous with people, talking to them, social anxiety to the max, right? I was like, let me try coffee. Took a while, wasn't into it, settled for like a small single shot iced latte, 1 shot. Did I say that? I said that already. Vanilla, of course. Gotta be a little basic. I'm a Libra. Of course I'm gonna be a little basic. Every single shift. 5 minutes within to the shift, I would have that coffee. Boom, energy up. We're talking to everybody. I'm my true self. Okay? One day, it got so busy, I didn't have time to have that coffee. I started panicking. I won't be able to talk to people the same. People won't like me as much. I won't have as much charisma. I can't do it. I won't last the rest of the shift. I'll make so many mistakes. I'll ruin my job. I won't be good. What happened? I was fine. In fact, not only was I fine, I was brilliant. You see, the coffee, I'm not saying caffeine can't have an effect, that alcohol can't have an effect. Sure, it can, absolutely. Every now and then, it's nice to have a little drink. It's nice to have a little coffee to put a little pep in your step, sure. But all it's doing is just amplifying a part of you. It's all in you. There is so much sparkle and color to life without these external things. Sometimes they can act as a tool for us to sort of see these things, but that stuff exists regardless, and you have the power to wipe your lens and see it. So many people shy away from that, like I said, because it's hard. People don't want to do the hard stuff. They want what's easy. It's easy to have a drink and loosen up. It's hard to think about your communication skills and how you connect with people, right? It's easy to have that coffee and then focus. It's hard to sit down and be disciplined and trust yourself to keep going even though you're tired. I'm not saying that we can't enjoy and indulge in these things every now and then, but they're not what make our personality. They are not the things that make us the way we are. They might add a little seasoning, but they're not the core part of who we are. And you would be surprised at how much you can do without these things. If you don't believe me, you don't believe me for a reason. It's because you haven't challenged yourself enough. You want to be cool? You want to be cool? Go out sober. Do the day without coffee. Or if you're maybe like a 4-shot, 6-shot type of person, cut your coffee a little bit, reduce it a little bit. You'd be surprised. First day maybe might be rough. You might be like, nope, she was wrong, don't get it. But you're lying to yourself. You can absolutely do it. You can absolutely do it. Alright guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm so grateful that you chose to spend this time with me today. And again, I really want to take the time to acknowledge the fact that we are all human beings. Okay, we are all works in progress. When I say all of this, again, it's not to be condescending or to diminish the good that you do. There are many blind spots that I have myself, things that I miss. Heck, you can comment them down below. What do you think makes a person cool? What do you think makes people cooler? Let's learn, let's grow together. But I hope you can see that what I'm trying to do is get you to understand that just because things are easy Just because things are a certain way, it doesn't mean that we have to continue that behavior. A lot of us haven't grown up with good role models for this kind of stuff. Or in a society, we've seen certain behavior that's just accepted. And it's the norm. And because it's the norm, we think it should stay normal. But we have the power to change that. We have the power to be the change we wish to see in the world. So what's it gonna be?